Welcome to StabtheDragon Productions for episode number 181 as we get back to our Texas Rye Whiskey Tournament, bracket number 3. It's been a while since our last Rye Tournament competition because I started my blended Scotch reviews, but I need to go ahead and finish up this Rye Tournament, so here we are. It'll be a few more months, I'm sure, before we're finished, but we're on the downhill stretch there. In this rye tournament, I am looking for the best rye whiskeys that have some kind of Texas roots. There are 25 rye whiskeys in this tournament. Most are grain to glass Texas ryes. Some are related to Texas by other means, like sourcing from out of state, and which you're a Texas company. Or there's a couple of out of state Texas whiskeys or out of state whiskeys that have Texas owners. So that's how it works to be a Texas rye. My rules are really pretty simple. Of these two rye whiskeys that we're going to be looking at tonight, which one would I choose to drink 3 times out of 5 if I were offered the same 2 whiskeys 5 nights in a row? Nose, mouthfeel, flavor, finish are all the big deciding factors. And in case of a tie, and that's happened a few times, price, value, and availability will decide. So on to the contestants. In this corner, we have Oak&Eden Rye&Rumba. Oak&Eden was launched in 2017 by 2 brothers, Joe and James Gildenzopf, as well as Brad Nethery, under the name of Sanctified Spirits. This company's claim to fame is a patented in-bottle finishing process where they use these spiral cut pieces of wood. Let's see if you can see that in there. All right, maybe you can. They soak those spirals, or sometimes they toast them, roast them, bake them, whatever they do to them. Sometimes it's a French wood spiral. Usually it's American oak. Sometimes they soak them in this case, rum or beer or coffee or wine. So you can greatly, it's basically a way of finishing the whiskey without putting it into another barrel. You put the barrel in the bottle. There you go. And so that's their patented process. And to me, it absolutely works. It's not a gimmick. I mean, it makes perfect sense. So there you go. Their headquarters is, this is a North Texas whiskey, and their headquarters is out of Bridgeport, Texas, about 30 miles to my northwest, and it's bottled in Louisville, about 30 miles to my northeast. They have a tasting room library about 3 miles south of my house, and it's way more than a fancy bar. It's a library. So they have all their different whiskeys are up there, and if you sign up, you can have this class. And for $150 each, you go there and you study whiskey, study what they can do. You make your own personalized bottle there with your choice of bourbons or ryes, your choice of different soaked spires, and even you can infuse some flavors into your whiskey if you want to. It's a really nice place. I mean, my wife and I went there once, had a couple of nice cocktails there, bought a bottle there. So anyway, design your own whiskey essentially. I've got probably 4 different bottles of Oak&Eden, and I think I've finished one, so I guess I've had 5. So count me as a fanboy. The only downside is they source all their whiskeys from out of state, mostly MGP. They use younger bourbons with ryes that doesn't matter that much, but you can tell sometimes a little bit with the bourbons that it's some youthful bourbon there. These whiskeys don't have any of the Texas funk. Nonetheless, I enjoy their products immensely. Now they're a little bit expensive. Yeah, you can get this Rye&Rumba if it's still available. $65 at Total Wine. I bought one at Specs for my younger son, and then I bought this bottle at Goody Goody actually, and it's listed for about $65 too. So, but the deal is these are limited editions, and so when they're done, they move on to another flavor. Like they've had a couple of their whiskeys that were finished with a local beer spire, and so those are finished too. So they have different special editions they come out with. Okay, Now, in this corner, we've got Still Austin, straight rye cask strength. Coming out of Austin, Texas, Still Austin was founded in 2013 by Cleveland and Chris Seals, with the doors opening in 2014. This whiskey company is now one of the big boys of Texas whiskey. You know, who are the big boys? Balcones, Garrison Brothers, TX, and Still Austin. Yeah, there might be some others, but I think that's the upper crust of Texas whiskeys, probably. Now, there's lots of good Texas whiskeys that are not in that category. I'm a big fan of Acre, and they're a small-time operation here in Fort Worth. Uh, Oak&Eden's pretty big. I mean, they're pretty widely distributed too, but Still Austin, I mean, when it comes to Texas whiskeys, they've made it a splash in the whiskey world. They are widely known now. So they make grain to glass Texas whiskeys with big, bold Texas flavors. This is 116 proof, aged for at least 2 years, and is a certified Texas whiskey. Coming at you for $68.73 from Goody Goody. Total Wine had it for $64.99 and Specs $65.99. So yeah, again, this is fairly expensive for me to get one of these. Now, both of these whiskeys have not done so well in my tournament. Okay, they've both been beat out in the first round, and so, and even second round in Still Austin's case. I retest these whiskeys. In other words, it's kind of a round robin tournament almost. So neither one of these has done well, although I gotta say the Oak&Eden's favored for tonight. I really do enjoy the Oak&Eden. So just because a whiskey loses in the first round doesn't mean it's a bad whiskey at all. And the only problem with Still Austin is apparently cask strength and I do not like each other when it comes to rye whiskey. Cask strength bourbon, absolutely, but rye, I've tried 3 now, and all 3 have not done well. So we'll see who wins tonight. So on to the contest. I will be drinking these whiskeys blind, not knowing which is which. The Glencairns are numbered. They're blacked out because sometimes I can cheat and look at it and tell which is which. Figuring out which is which, it's not really part of the tournament. It's just for fun. But Oak&Eden has a number 1 on the bottom somewhere, and Still Austin has a number 2. So I'm going to start by saying history. I'm going to give the win for Oak&Eden because of their patented, innovative process of finishing the whiskey in the bottle. Bottle label and marketing, however, I'm going to go with Still Austin because, like I said, they hit the ground running and they're everywhere now. So they're big boys, and they've hired a local artist in Austin to do the labels. And I think that's actually pretty cool. Although I gotta say, the Oak&Eden bottle, those are pretty imposing, nice looking bottles as well. So that was really close. And their marketing really is pretty good. So again, this was pretty close, but I think Still Austin is bigger. Composition, yeah, Still Austin wins that because they are grain to glass Texas, whereas Oak&Eden is sourced. Appearance of the whiskeys, Oak&Eden is probably a little bit lighter, I think. Not much. Well, gee, even on the camera, you can't really tell. They're pretty even. Okay, I think they're just even in appearance. Aesthetically, I prefer darker whiskeys. So let's move on to the nose. I'm going to go left to right here. Okay, mildly whiskey smell. Nothing that smells like rye. Just a vague whiskey sweetness. So that sweetness, though, that might be Oak&Eden. The one on the right. This one. Yeah, This one might have a little bit of a rye flavor going on. I want to say it's a tie with the nose. Neither one had a great nose. Now my nose is not good, so I have trouble smelling whiskey. I've tried and tried. Usually I can smell ryes though, and so this one I think got a little bit of rye. Neither of these smells bad. This one may be a little bit sweeter. I don't know. So time to go to the palate and see. Starting with the one on my left, again, Oak&Eden is number 1. Still Austin is number 2 on the bottom of the glass. I tasted some rye on that. The proof did not seem very high, so this might be the Oak&Eden. That's pretty sweet. I'm going to say that's the Oak&Eden. Should be glass number 1, because that's sweet, like the rum. Pretty sure. But we'll have to sample the other one. This tasting blind thing can be very difficult. Last week a couple of weeks ago, I thoroughly embarrassed myself in my Scotch tournament. Got them mixed up. Could not figure out which was which. All right, so the one on the right. That's the Still Austin. I can feel the proof. It's got a stronger rye flavor going on. Yeah, it's. I think that's number 2 on the bottom. Still Austin tastes like you're drinking pine needles. Their regular rye is magnificent. This one I struggle with. The proof hides the flavor for whatever reason. I mean, it's not like my mouth is too sensitive. I mean, the high proof burn doesn't bother me, but it simply hides the flavor. And it doesn't do that with bourbons. High proof bourbons work for me, but high proof ryes, I've got 3 of them. They're all 3 like that. I don't know. So I taste the rye, pine needles. I can tell it's high proof, but for whatever reason, the regular Still Austin that's 99.6 proof has got a lot better flavor. This has got some bitterness on the end, on the finish, that's not pleasant. I should do Topo Chico commercials. This is the best drink out there. Okay, I'll try this one on the left one more time. Wow, now I'm confused. Yeah, doing these side by sides is difficult. Which one do I like the best? Wow. Now I'm not sure. think the one on the right, because of the proof, I think it wrecked my taste buds. I'm going with the first sip of the one on the left. I think that had the best flavor, but not necessarily the best rye flavor. The one on the right, the rye comes out a little bit more, but then it gets obscured with this proof and the bitterness. So I'm going to go with the one on the left, and I'm going to say that that's probably the Oak&Eden. So let's lift up the glass and look at this. Number one, I guessed correctly. And number two. So I'm going to say Oak&Eden beats the Still Austin Cask Strength. And that's the one I picked ahead of time. I thought, I bet I'm going to like the Oak&Eden better than the Still Austin. The proof gets in the way. Still Austin. It obscures the flavor. I mean, the lower proof, the Still Austin Straight Rye 99.6 proof, that one may very well win the tournament. It's that good. Okay, this one, the proof just gets in the way. So we have a winner, Oak&Eden. So this is again kind of a. I take the losers bracket, and I'm doing competition now with the losers bracket. So that advances Oak&Eden up in the losers bracket, and Still Austin is out of the tournament. And that's that. All right, this is Stab the Dragon, and next time I'm not sure what we'll be doing. Probably I'm going to go to my Scotch channel and do on Monday. I think I'm going to do a part of the Scotch tournament. So this is Stab Dragon out here.